Hello, hello, Butter fam. It is so good to have you back in the room. Oh my goodness, what a whirlwind year it has been so far, but we are so excited to have you here with us once again for another incredible monthly webinar. Of course, as people are kind of coming into the room, we're just going to take a couple minutes and let people get their cozy socks on. I as always say, get their coffee, get their tea, get their water. Okay, so come on in and get cozy. We'll hold on for just a couple minutes before officially starting. But again, welcome to today's Give Butter webinar. It is exciting. Happy February. I'm even wearing my little heart. You probably can't see it, my little heart
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
I'm themed too. Monthly giving is my love language.
Oh, I love it, Dana. That looks so good. That looks so good. I mean, hello, topic of the day, topic of the year. Okay, we are ready for that. Listen, from year end to year round, converting December donors into monthly supporters. This is going to be an all-star session today. So come on in the chat, friends. Put in your name, your organization. Where are you zooming in from? Okay, we want to know. Sanjay, my good friend, it's so wonderful to have you here. Way to go, Ghostamek Foundation. Y'all are moving mountains, Sanjay. Incredible what you're doing there. Lachelle, welcome. Oh my goodness. John, welcome to the room. Tara, hello, hello from Orange County, California. Karen, so great to have you in the room. Patty as well. Thank you all for joining. Please keep it coming. We want to hear from you. We want to make sure that we know where you're coming from, what organization you're with. That is always at the top of our list, so we can authentically welcome you into the room. So as we're kind of kicking off here, my name is Stephanie. I am your Get Better webinar host, and I am zooming in from the beautiful state of wintry Michigan right now. It is very chilly. We're going to get hit with about 8 inches of snow, I think, today. So I'm glad the webinar is now and not later, so I have power. So, all right, life is good. Please keep those coming there in the chat. We want to make sure we welcome everybody. Please continue. It looks like Heather is here. Wonderful Melissa from Athens, Georgia. Marcus is here. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's so wonderful to have you. So as we're kind of getting started, what we'd like to do is just kind of go over a little housekeeping as we're thinking about today's exciting session. So, of course, we want to just be mindful of a few different things. One is, of course, our housekeeping. So just make sure that you know, first of all, the recording and the slides will be emailed to you after the webinar. Have no fear. I should always say that about 10 times. So don't worry, it's coming. Please also use the Q&A chat today to ask your questions, but keep rolling in those comments, your comments and your little fun emojis in the chat. So we've got the chat for fun and kind of, to hear how things are going. We want that engagement, but the questions should go in that separate Q&A chat, please. And of course, please keep the chat respectful and kind. You always do because you're the best, but just remember that, of course, moving forward. So we are all here. We are ready to party. Let's dive into it. Of course, you know us. You know us, Give Butter fam. We are your all-in-one solution for your fundraising, donor management, and your marketing needs. Event and auctions, we've got you. Customized reporting, automated workflows, we got that for you. Also, don't forget SMS messaging, direct mail. If you haven't checked that out yet, that's really exciting. So all the bells and whistles for you here at Give Butter. We are so excited about it. So that's not all though, friends. Okay, this is some big news. Can I just tell you, I was like giddy when I heard this from our team. We are so excited to announce that we now have soft credits. Once again, you have asked and we have listened, my friends. You can trap the ripple effect of your supporters by assigning them soft credits, making it easy to now acknowledge their special contributions and share your gratitude for helping to grow your community of supporters. Ooh, I need a little water there. It is dry here in Michigan. Can you believe I'm so excited about these soft credits? I know that is going to be so incredible for you all as you work through the donor management. Make sure you're doing that stewardship that you know you need to be doing. Okay, like keeping those communications going, keeping those relationships built, and making sure you're connecting with your donor community. One other just can't miss offering that we have is our fabulous Give Butter Academy course for recurring donations, hosted by the queen herself, Dana Snyder. Have y'all taken this course yet? I would love to hear in the chat. Can we put a little, have you taken this Academy course yet? I want to hear, because can I tell you all, it is absolutely fantastic. I took it recently, like a few weeks ago. I was so excited about it. My eyes were glued. My ears
Aw,
were
thanks, Steph.
glued. Dana,
I
it
will
was,
say it
yeah,
is definitely easy. It's bite chunk videos. And
yes.
if you are on fire after this discussion today, it goes more in depth into other things. So we can't cover everything in less than an hour or less. And so if you want to go dive deeper into some things we're going to be talking about, this is a really good place to go.
It really is. Thank you, Dana. It really, really is, friends. So check it out. It is available for you there in Give Butter. And also, like, Dana provides such great insights from other organizations and the success stories that they've had. I love that and learning about them. So definitely check it out. You don't want to miss, friends. All right, we've gotten through the incredible announcements. We have welcomed our incredible friends. Keep them coming. By the way, if you're just now joining in, please keep it going in the chat. We want to hear from you. But listen, that recurring donations course was the perfect segue to introduce our VIP guest today, the one, the only Dana Snyder. Dana is a dynamic speaker, author of The Monthly Giving Mastermind, host of the nonprofit podcast Missions to Movements, and the visionary creator of the Monthly Giving Summit, coming up soon. Don't forget. Her mission is to create sustainable giving models by establishing robust monthly giving programs, making philanthropy accessible to all. And we are grateful for it. Dana, I am so excited to have you in the Zoom room today, friend.
Thank you so much. I love being here. This community is one of my favorites to be a part of. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens over and move everybody over. I'm going to open up the chat so I can see everybody. Let's get situated. Thank you for having me. And I will say this is a really exciting time to be talking about recurring giving. It's always an exciting time, but we are at the beginning of the year. And so when we were planning this webinar, we didn't want to forget about all the hard work you did at the end of the year. And I'm sure you've been thinking about, how do we ensure, it's been 45 plus days, how do we encourage those supporters who joined us at the end of the year to join us as recurring supporters? So I am very excited to be here with all of you. Honestly, my mission, my goal, my desire, I'm rocking it. Monthly giving is my love language. If you didn't see the earlier swag, is to cultivate a community where you nonprofits can really learn from each other. So I have written a book, The Monthly Giving Mastermind, that you can check out, and I have the Monthly Giving Summit coming up. The goal of all of these things, and the reason the book is titled A Mastermind and that I run a mastermind, is so that we're doing it together. Because if we're doing things in silos, there's so many things that we can learn from what another organization has already tried or is trying. I saw Kathy's actually in my mastermind. She's here with us today. We just had a call earlier this morning. So let's go ahead and dive in, because I want to leave lots of time for Q&A. This session, for all, I don't know how many of us are in here, hundreds, this is going to be really action-based. So if you have ever attended any one of my webinars before, we are going to do things together. This is not going to be all you sitting and listening to me the whole time. We are going to workshop some things. So I want to kickstart with this. Why are we here? So if you do follow me, if you don't, I am continuously emphasizing recurring giving models, because I think it's vital. More than ever, it's vital to this sector that we have a revenue stream that is predictable and sustainable, and that we have agency over. Vital to the health of the nonprofit sector. But when it comes to prioritizing it, sometimes we question it. We are nervous to prioritize it. Recurring first can sound really scary and daunting, but here's the thing I want you to know, and I want you to believe, and like throw me down in the chat some like exclamation marks, some smiley marks. Embrace the belief that you are offering someone the greatest gift, which is the opportunity to have a deeper purpose by supporting your mission because it resonates with who they are. This is the opportunity. So, in this session, and I talk about this in one of the chapters in my book, welcome to your new job as the chief evangelist of regular giving. So, today, in the next 45 minutes, and hopefully moving forward, I want you to be unapologetically all in on recurring giving. And this is why. So there's some stats up on the screen right now. After Giving Tuesday, I wanted to know, how did recurring giving do? What was the performance? So I asked some friends of mine at Neon. They said 5% of new donors became recurring contributors. 6,000 new recurring plans happened. This is just on Giving Tuesday, by the way, just that single day. 6,000 new nonprofit plans were established through GoFundMe and Classy. There was a near 11% surge in first-time monthly donors year over year and a 14% increase in gift value from Fundraise Up. And here with Give Butter, look at this increase from 2023 to 2024 in recurring donation payments. People are excited to give in this way when we offer the opportunity. So this is your golden moment. And there's a lot going on in the world right now. And I just wanted to share a quick story of an organization that in 2012 fell bankrupt. 13 years ago, Whole House. They were a 123-year-old historic social services organization in Chicago, co-founded by Jane Addams. She was the first woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize in 1889. So we're going way back. And what's interesting about this organization is that before the charitable tax deduction took place in 1917, they were entirely funded by private gifts from individuals. And at that point, there was no tax benefit to donors. And initially, that's all that sustained the initiative. And over time, they started to depend on more government dollars, and until it became about 85% of their funding. There's this article, and I'm going to share it with you because I think it's just so timely, to go back in history and just look at moments and how we can learn from them. Where's my chat? Here we go. So this is an article, 2012. One of the lessons they say in here is to diversify, not be overly dependent on any particular funding. And it's a message that unfortunately came too late for them. But this is the beautiful thing about recurring giving, is we have the opportunity to take action right now. So here's the case for monthly giving. I shared this graph on a LinkedIn post, and it got a lot of attention. So I wanted to share it here. The main headline, right? What if you asked for $85 less per donor and still raised $32,000 more? So if you're looking at the graph with me, what I did here, this is using a Chat GPT, using some AI, is I said, if I had 100 donors and I asked them to give a one-time gift of $100 based on an average retention rate of 35%, which is kind of average for a one-time donor, versus what if I asked those same 100 people to give $15 as a monthly donor, and that retention rate is 85%. Over a 3-year period, what happens? So over 3 years, as you can see, the orange is the one time, the blue is the monthly. And this is without anything new. This is just the 100 people. Look at what happens. The total, although it is very exciting to have the boost of funds from a one-time gift, but over time there's consistency and there's way more money. 47,000 plus over 3 years from monthly gifts versus $14,700 from one time. So if there's been some resistance in your organization to consider monthly, I hope that this visual just helps to be a proof point in making it happen. Okay, so mindset shift. Here we are, still considering beginning of the year, and we're so used to starting the year at zero. But what if on January 1st or February 1st, March 1st, or whenever that recurring gift is made from a supporter, you knew there was going to be a consistent, constant pulse of recurring gifts? Like exclamation marks, high fives. Are you experiencing this right now? Do you have this right now? Would you like to have that? Where it's not starting at zero, you know what's about to come in. You have an idea of what's about to hit. So the end of the year presents this really beautiful opportunity to nurture and invite this new group that you just acquired at the end of the year. Or maybe it's a dedicated group of one-time supporters to become monthly and build this relationship. So, how does this happen? This is something that we're looking to put into practice today. You have a year-end supporter. I'm calling this look at October through December, converting them into a monthly supporter, a recurring that could be quarterly, that could be annually for you. Today, we're thinking about monthly. And then becoming a lifelong advocate. One of the stats that I love to share that was done in a report, a recurring giving report, was the average recurring supporter stays with you for 8 years. 8 years. Isn't that amazing? I myself, this year will be 5 years that I've been a monthly donor to the longest organization I've supported and been consistent in that. And so this is what we want to think about is how do we create this lifelong advocate? But the language that we use during the end of the year is usually specifically trying to drive an immediate response for an urgent need in that moment. We're giving emotionally because it's the holidays, but they care about the work you're doing all year long. So in the chat, I'd love to just take a moment. What right now do you think for your organization is the biggest reason donors might not currently be giving monthly? Write down 2 barriers. 1, 2 barriers for your organization. Okay, Katie can't afford it. What would be 2 barriers that you think they can't give? Haven't asked. Startup, they don't understand why they should give. Okay. They don't know, not being asked, haven't asked, a lot of not being asked. Okay, can't afford, we don't ask, don't know they can, don't know much about it. They know it's a pain when the card expires. We're going to be talking about that, Courtney. Don't want to commit, not inspired to. Commitment, haven't had the technology. Okay, these are all great. Okay, so what we're going to try and do is definitely the main one I've seen is not ask. And so working on that ask, because I knew that was going to be a top one. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Strategy number 1, how do we change some of these things? And I just saw Rachel aging donors. My parents are in their 70s and they're monthly donors and they love it. Maybe because their daughter works in the nonprofit space, and so I talk about it all the time. But my dad was recently raving about loving being a recurring donor to an organization and the emails that he receives. So don't think that age can be a limiting factor. Okay, so strategy 1 is messaging. If there's not compelling messaging language around why monthly giving matters to your mission, then why would someone select to give that way? So what we're going to do together in just a couple of moments is we are going to draft your one-time ask. You might already have it live on your site and shift that into a recurring ask. And there's a couple of things that we need to do when thinking about our value proposition. Why does this matter? We want to lead with the why. Why is your mission, the program, important? 2, is the impact clear? What is being accomplished? We just want to know what's going on. Transparency. 3, belonging. This is a really big one. The biggest reason of why people give monthly is it aligns to their core of their personal identity. So how are they a part of something bigger? This leads into, if you've heard me talk about this before, I strongly believe in having a name for your recurring giving program because it creates this sense of community. If you watched the Super Bowl, there are team names. There are people repping jerseys. I am a UCF Knights fan. That's where I went to college. I feel like I'm a part of Knight Nation when I go to things. What are they a part of? Number 4, make it personal. How does this connect with them? How can the language feel so relatable? 5, social proof. Seeing testimonials from other monthly donors, people who are part of the program, who else is a part of it, why do they love it? Share that. The same reason why we read Amazon reviews before we buy something. I'm trying to find a piece of furniture right now, or I'm trying to book a trip, and all I'm doing is reading reviews. And then number 6, the super important, we're going to dive into this more, is keep it simple and actionable. So I want to show you an example on this next slide of one-time giving language versus a recurring ask. So this is language from the donation page of the Innocence Project. And their organization is all about helping wrongfully incarcerated people become free. And so this is their one-time ask language. Donate to help free the innocent. Be a part of the Innocent Project's groundbreaking work to free innocent people and transform the legal system. With your support, we can do even more. Donate today. Versus, let's look at their monthly donation language. Help free the innocent every month. Monthly donors strengthen our work by ensuring we can plan in advance, continue our work without pause, and take powerful steps towards pushing the innocence movement forward. They have a special limited time for your first monthly gift will be matched dollar for dollar, up to 5,000 by a couple donors right here. Do you see? Oh, that's some good copy. Yes. Do you see the difference? So simple. And this is the point. It's not a lot. And right below this are their dollar amounts. Love. Yes. It is bold. It is clear. It is simple. But the short differences of monthly donors, there's no question here. A lot of times we run into a donor gives accidentally monthly. No confusion. Free them every month. Monthly donors, they strengthen our work. We can plan in advance. We continue without pause. And we're part of a movement forward. Those words are not here in the giving today. No, they are on different pages. That's a good question. They are on different pages. So what I want us to do is think about our one-time ask. So how do you typically appeal to your year-end donors versus a monthly ask, reframing it to think about the sustained impact? And the big difference here is always your mission and the vision. Monthly donors believe in the long-term vision of what you're doing. So step one here, and this is where we're going to get in the chat together and do some brainstorming. I want you to think about your recent year-end campaign, your fundraising appeal, and what language did you use? What was like your call to action? So my example here is a $50 gift provides a warm meal and shelter for family in need this winter. Just start to drop them down. Do you have some examples of what was your messaging that you just recently used around asking for one-time gifts? Start to think about that. Equip and send. Is it asking to be a sustainable donor? Not relatable language. So sustainable donor could be relevant to anything, anyone. We want it to be specifically about what will a monthly donor help your cause do? Okay, a gift to our general fund. Let me scroll back up. Supports the built-in scholarship we provide for each student in our program. Okay, more singular focused. So monthly, when we start to think about this, you're going to want to think about the overall vision of what does that scholarship actually provide for the student? What's happening in their lives? That's the messaging. Okay, Tara says, today we ask you to make a meaningful impact on our program. Our goal is to raise a very strategic number, cover the cost of providing 3 daily nutritious meals and snacks for each teen. Okay, this is a perfect example of fabulous one-time language. I can visualize it. It's so concise. It's clear. Will you join us with a gift to provide life-saving meals at risk teens this holiday season? Okay, Tara, I'm really excited to see how you transform this into a monthly. Debbie, a bottle of dish soap costs $1.25, so every dollar counts. Amazing. Okay, these are great. These are great. Okay, perfect. Exactly $100 funds a STEM class for 20 children. Awesome. All right. So this one-time language, now what we want to do is focus on these guidelines of shifting the message from a single moment of impact to sustained transformation. What is the transformation if your nonprofit was able to disappear tomorrow because you fixed it? You solved the problem. What is that sustained transformation? The ongoing change that these donors can create through their monthly gift. So that's what we want this to include. The ongoing impact, emphasis of community, and using, if you can, the word you language so the donor is part of the hero. So let's look at an example. This is kind of a template to follow. Same thought of organization from the one time. This example, with just $15 per month, you'll provide a warm meal and safe shelter every night for a family in need, ensuring, here's the transformation, they have security and hope year round. The difference between the two is this. $50, a $15, provides a warm meal and shelter for a family in need this winter. $15 per month, warm meal, safe shelter every night, ensuring, adding the vision, they have security and hope year round. So let's take a minute and start to think about what could this, yeah, I agree, Stephanie, this is really good. What could this look like for you as your monthly example? What's your twist? What's your take on this? So Barbara helping a young lady develop skills to be an entrepreneur. Yeah, and I would judge that. I would make it even more vibrant, add color to that. What does that provide? How does that change their life? Yes, and please put your questions. I'm going to go more into questions at the end. We're going to have plenty of time for them. Kathy, your monthly donation can pay for monthly state housing for a deserving student in the visual arts. I would add more descriptive language to this. What does that mean, state housing um, in visual arts? Is there any more in depth that you can get to really make somebody create their own mind movie with this? Matt, you have a mentoring program for high school students. Okay, so what does that day of mentoring? Then you have like the dollar amount for a day of mentoring to add the vision. And then for some of you that might be thinking, I don't have an exact dollar amount that equals X thing. This comes up a lot in my monthly giving mastermind group. And so I wanted to share two examples with you. And I'm going to share these websites in a second while you're still noodling on your monthly giving statements and asks. This is the Clio Institute. So they're an organization based in Florida with a fight on climate change. And climate change can feel really big. And they do lots of advocacy work. And they're like, Dana, when we were trying to think about their impact amounts and their language, they said, we don't have X dollar equals X thing that we can really create. And so the way that we think about this is their supporters don't want to go a day without supporting work in climate change. So if you can see here, I zoomed in on their Give Butter form. And we've broken it down by $50 a day, $1 a day. It's the dollar a day model. We will get 50 cents, $1 a day. That seems like so insubstantial. $1, 50 cents equals $15.50 a month. It's a great monthly gift. So we tweaked it. So this was all about, and let me go to their website. Their language, if you can see here, it's not too late to protect. So something that comes into mind is, oh, it's already too far gone. It's not too late to protect Florida's beaches, coral reefs, national parks, the places that these people love to go. We're visualizing them here for future generations. They know their donors, parents, grandparents, supporting the future generation, but the time for action is now. The name of their monthly giving program is Rise. Will you rise to the occasion with a monthly gift? And they have it as $1.50 per day. We have a video that they did. Hope. We're sharing hope. The climate crisis is a solvable crisis. And I'm going to skip this one, but when you join Rise, you'll be joining a community of people who are passionate about our beautiful state and helping to educate and empower communities on the climate crisis. Our mission? To create a safe, just, and healthy environment for all. We can solve this in community together, and we're ready to give it everything we've got. With an impact statement button, you can edit these and give butter to say whatever you want. Rise with us. This does not say donate. It doesn't say give a gift. It says rise with us. And then they talk about what they're doing. They break it down for the different programs they're at. This is a really great example. Meet the next generation of fighting for Florida. So I will put this as an example in the chat for organizations that you don't necessarily have a specific dollar amount. And then another one, Politicist is an amazing organization. I'm a recurring donor, which is all about providing childcare for parents and caretakers to be able to go to any civic engagement activities. This can even be like PTO meetings. So every voice matters. Join the village and help make sure every caregiver's voice is heard at the polls and every day. Theirs does have dollar amounts with impact amounts, but here they have why join the village? Join the village today. So this is another one that has some really great compelling language that I recommend taking a look at with two very different types of organizations. But it's all about speaking to the mission and the vision. And then you are giving them the opportunity and the choice to choose between a one time and a monthly. One of my favorite examples of this before I go into strategy number 2 is the Tim Tebow Foundation. So I've worked with them and they always say it's a choice. We explain the need and they can choose to give us one time. This is the impact a one time will have. And this is the impact that monthly can have. And it's their option as long as we are consistently presenting them both. So, strategy number 2, reducing churn. So once we have monthly donors, maybe you receive some monthly donors at end of the year and you don't want to lose them. Churn a lot of times can happen in these first couple months. So how do we avoid this? So credit card failures came up. And this is something to acknowledge within your CRM platform and be tracking and making sure that usually there's automatic updates that go out. And then if those aren't answered, that you're sending out a personalized message or have some sort of automation set up to be able to handle that. If they didn't mean to give monthly, this is often the most common that I see happens with cancellations in the first 90 days as they realize there's a recurring transaction. The biggest way to avoid that is to have a monthly only giving page with a monthly only form. If you notice on these 2 pages, please note this is a monthly recurring donation. There is no option to give one time. Doesn't exist. Both of these pages does not exist. When they go through the process of giving, it is specifically monthly, per month. There are multiple ways that they are seeing that this is going to be a recurring transaction. So that's the first part. In your language above, below, on your form, in your messaging, all of it should encompass monthly and making sure that that's clear. And then yes, Dino, there's another form for one-time donations. And ideally it's one time and monthly, and they can still make the choice to upgrade on that form. And then third is the unfortunate, but most of the time it's probably not your fault at all, is lack of connection. So we want to make sure that they are hearing about the updates that you're doing and the impact that you're sharing. Sometimes email is lost in spam or trash or whatever, lost in the world of emails. And so it's really important to communicate with donors on different channels, through social, through direct mail pieces, through email, through SMS if you have it. And I think SMS has traditionally been looked at as a platform where we're only sending out asks or for events. And it can just be an update where you share a blog post about what's going on. If you can, it's great to personalize and understand how a donor prefers to be communicated, but we want to make sure that there's an ecosystem where they're seeing your content. One of my tricks, one thing that I love to do is with social ads, you can like upload an email list of donors and just run an ad campaign saying thank you with a video to those people. And it's really low cost because it's a really usually smaller group of people. Do a video view campaign, it's a couple of pennies. The point of this is that I want to make sure that we are reaching them. And then strategy number 3 is the donor experience. Is your monthly giving flow optimized? I cannot understate this enough. So there's a couple of audit things that I want you to take a look at. 1, can donors easily upgrade from one time to monthly? 2, is it mobile friendly and easy to use? So right after this session, I would open your website on desktop and I would open it on your phone. Can you find the way to donate monthly? Is it clear? Is it apparent? Is there an ask? Is it bold? Do you have a monthly only form option on a specific monthly giving landing page? This is really important. That really helps with the cancellations. And then number 4, and honestly, super important, is your tech stack. Does it talk to each other? And what I mean by this is your front end donation tool. If you have a separate CRM, does it talk to it seamlessly? Are they connected? And is it connected to your email platform? If you are having to manually upload and download any pieces of information, that is a lot of work. It's a lot of work on your end, especially once you have a robust, amazing recurring giving program. You're not going to want to have to do that manually. And then it creates some friction for the user when they're going to want to manage their gift. And you want to make sure that communication is in sync. Quick story on this. I had a call just about 2 weeks ago with a pretty large size organization. They were so excited. They're launching their monthly giving program in March, this March. And she was explaining the campaign. And I started to ask, what's your donation tool? Okay. What CRM do you have? It's like a built-in native to their organization. I said, okay. Do they talk to each other? How are they synced? And she's like, you know what? I'm not sure. Let me talk to our IT department. They were not connected. Everyone. They would have had to manually upload every individual transaction. And if this is you right now, there is no time like the present to change it. This is the this is if there's not one thing I stress more, it is, does your tech stack talk to each other? Because in the email side of things is really important. So I'm going to give you an example of a tech stack where they can all talk to each other. And GiveButter has this really great, I'm going to drop this in the chat, page on integrations where it shows you what can be connected via Zapier, which is like an automation connecting tool, and what's natively connected. And every platform has a page like this called integrations. So if GiveButter is your donor tool, Bloomerang is a native integration in their platform. GiveButter also has GiveButter Plus that you can use for CRMs as well. But let's just say this is yours. Flowdesk is one of my favorite email tools. I'll put a link up to that as well. They don't charge you more for the amount of contacts that you have, which is incredible ever. It's the same across the board. They don't really market to the nonprofit space. It's been marketed more to us entrepreneurs, and I think it should be marketed to the nonprofit space. So I'm sharing it with you. I have lots of clients that are going to be onboarding and are currently using it. And Zapier can connect. GiveButter and Bloomerang talk to each other, like they're biffles, they're best friends. And then from GiveButter to Flowdesk can be integrated. You can also use GiveButter Plus to do some automated email series. The biggest thing here is connection, automation. Write down after this, what existing tools do you have? Do they have the possibility of integrating and talking to each other through a tool like Zapier? If they don't, even if you have marked off, if you're changing your tech stack was not supposed to be part of your bingo card in 2025, but they don't talk to each other and you want to build a monthly giving program, I would strongly recommend doing that. Miranda, my experience, we can't automate adding new individual transactions. We can only automate making a new contact. You can add through webhook recurring contacts. It's called a plan with GiveButter. It's getting a little bit technical. There's a workaround to connect GiveButter to an exterior mail platform. But all of the integrations, unless GiveButter team, you tell me I'm wrong, but GiveButter will enter all your recurring gifts into Bloomerang. Yes. Okay. Webhooks are on your bingo card. Yes, Miranda. There's a really great blog post that they have. I don't know, GiveButter team, if you can find that, if it's accessible. Dean, how important do you think is how these tools integrate, automate into your accounting platform software? Well, I think that would be like your source of truth is normally your CRM. That's like your home base of all the donor management. GiveButter is a fabulous, beautiful, mobile friendly front end tool. That doesn't necessarily. But I think they do maybe have an integration to like a QuickBooks or whatever accounting platform you do. But normally I say your CRM is like your source of truth. Okay, I know there's lots of other questions in here, and I'm going to come back to them when we go through the questions just so I can wrap up the rest of this, and we will enter them in just a second. Okay, so 3 immediate actions I have for you. Identify and segment, and I would say go bigger than December. Let's go into pull like October through December for a targeted follow-up. Before you do the follow-up, we want to create that recurring message. You want to make sure that donation form is optimized and clear and concise, and that you have, and if you want to learn more about this, I talk about it in the GiveButter Academy course that they mentioned at the beginning, a email welcome series. It's 4 emails within 30 days. And you might be like, that's a lot. It's not a lot. We need to communicate with them a lot upfront and celebrate what they've just done. So testing that new recurring giving message and really optimizing your donation flow and the retention plan that you have. Okay. So I promised I would leave. How are we feeling, by the way? Is this new information? Are we feeling excited about it? Is this getting you excited to test recurring giving and build a recurring giving program? And I have a couple of Somebody earlier asked about my shirt and that they need my shirt. Okay, kind of not funny, but funny. Created, I am so obsessed with monthly giving. I created a store, a swag shop. So you can quite literally get your monthly giving swag if you wanted to. And I will go back to this. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello. Oh my gosh. Can we just give some snaps and applause in the chat to the incredible Dana? I just feel like we all took a master's level course in recurring giving. So let's give it up, Dana. That was fantastic. I'm taking notes left and right. So insightful, so specifically detailed and helpful. And yeah, the chat is blowing up. And listen, like there's so, I mean, we have to dive in, Dana. There's so many excellent questions here. I want to make sure we cover it all. So let
Yes, and I'm sharing you this link. It's a link to my book, but if you scroll down, I have because there's some questions on retention and names so I have literally a 12-month retention plan for you that you can build out. I have a monthly naming. This is coming soon, this naming exercise. I have a launch checklist and I have a whole blog I just wrote about tech stack. So the best tools, what connects with what. So all of this is available. Just go to that page and you can like dive into whatever you need.
Amazing. I love the naming too. Like, and that's actually a question that came up. It's a question that comes up a lot, which is, can we do like members? Can we do sustainable, like sustainable donors? And so let's start there. So, and also in terms of memberships, like, are these recurring donors? Do we call them members? Are they members? Is it a membership or is this separate, or can you do both?
It depends on your organization. Um, Are you a museum? Are you somebody that charges admission and then there's a membership option? Can you loop them into one? Yes. Can you make them separate? Yes. I think it depends on the your individual organization um, to be able to make that choice. The name, though, of a program, I always, my Kathy, I've seen her commenting in here, is like living and breathing this right now because we're in the middle of our current mastermind round, which is I help launch 5 monthly giving programs at a time, and we do it together in like a cohort. And so a name should be like, I'm a part of the blank. Will you join the blank? And so this round is really exciting. So Kathy's actually the campers. So Camp Cocker Rescue. And so I love the name of like, will you be a part of the campers? We have another organization that's mindfulness focused and they meet in circles, in group circles. And so they're called the circle. Will you join the circle? So everything's representative. Another one is like a food, they're not a food pantry. They do like food delivery and food meal services, and they're called the Plenty. They want to make sure that everyone has what they need to eat and serving their community in Orlando, Florida. So just as those examples, and you can do more research, but it's encompassing and embodying a community feel.
I love that. So specific to your mission, specific to what that actually recurring gift program looks like. I love that. One note of clarification, somebody had kind of at the beginning. So just want a quick note. You had mentioned at the beginning of the presentation that we are 45 days past the year end. Is there something specific about looking at how far away from the new year,
Mm.
January 1? Can you tell us a little bit about the timing of launching a recurring plan, recurring giving?
Yeah, do it any day, to be honest, right now. I think we need this like surge. A whole chunk of the book is structured around the subscription economy. You, and I would love to hear like how many subscriptions do you individually have? We subscribe to things every day, all the time. Book of the club, coffee subscriptions, I do Newly clothing subscription, too many, yeah, Netflix, like our entertainment ones. So we as consumers, your donors are used to transactions in this way. Yours is not transactional, it's relational and transformative and makes a bigger difference. So any day is fine. The reason for the 45 days is just because it's very timely around being top of mind and very relevant to any supporters who gave to you at the end of the year. So it's how do we remind them that they did this amazing thing? They had the opportunity to pay it forward and do it even more so every single month.
Amazing. Love that. That makes perfect sense. Two questions that came in that are pretty similar. So I'm just going to read them both. So one is there a magic dollar amount to ensure a yes for monthly giving? They mentioned $15 is used a lot in today's presentation. Someone else similarly said for a one-time gift, we try to keep the offer in like the $10 to $40 range. But is there an ideal range for a monthly gift or like a starting for a monthly gift?
So when I look at the clients that I work with, I this is not a one size fits all answer. I would look at your individual donor data of one-time donors and see, is there a mean average dollar amount that's given. That gives you a pretty good sense of maybe where you should start. And I think you should definitely have your a lower end 20, 30-ish dollars. And then I have organizations that have $500,000 a month donations. You are going to know what the best fit is by looking at your own data. If you need somewhere to start and you might not have, if you're just starting out, you don't have that information, I would base it off the impact. Literally, how much does it cost you to do what you're doing? So I'm in a VIP intensive with an organization right now that takes in senior horses, and her average care per horse, I think, was like 32 or $36 a day per horse. 16 horses. I feel like we ended up, our number was like 500 and something per day she needs to cover to literally just feed and take care of the horses. So if you can break down those dollar amounts and you're telling the true stories of what's happening, that's a really good place to start.
I love that. And that really resonates with donors too.
Yes,
Absolutely. Um, Great question here. So I know we talk a lot about monthly giving for recurring donations, but we have a question. What are your thoughts on offering additional giving frequencies like annually, or quarterly? What's too much? Any value expanding on the one time per month?
definitely. I think you can offer different options. Sometimes what I will say is don't create analysis paralysis, where we can fall into there's too many options. I don't know what to pick. What's going to be right? So sometimes just streamlining it and to be clear for them, like if it's purely going to be a monthly giving program and you're going to have incentives, a monthly newsletter, invites, certain things, you can simplify it if it fits the nature and the structure. Again, I talk about this in the book. If there's a structure to your organization that fits and makes sense for quarterly, maybe you do something every quarter and that's just in a DNA part of your organization. Have it be quarterly. I think just have it fit you and what your organization is doing.
I love that. Makes perfect sense. Great question from our friend Sanjay. Our monthly donations support our community endowment, so no immediate benefit. How do we frame that? Our annual recurring donations
Mm.
have skyrocketed, so those that give once a year have gone great, but while the monthly, they're kind of still waiting to take off. So, any thoughts around that?
Yeah. So I would say if there's no immediate benefit, how do you create immediate updates? What can you share? What are you working on? What's the team doing? Are you building a team? Just the transparency of the behind the scenes of what's happening, even if the impact is further in the future, how are you building to that? And how can a recurring community be a part of that? Is there virtual events that you could host once a quarter for your monthly donors? If things happen, maybe it takes a little bit longer time. A quarterly update might be better. I still think there's a way to frame it. It's just what can you provide to this community in the short term?
I love that. Perfect. Another great question. Someone shares, my organization feeds kids each weekend through the school year. So kind of weekends through the school year. How would you recommend we create messaging for monthly gift asks, even though they don't provide, there's like the summer where they have off. So they're not providing technically those programs all year long.
Oh,
How,
but you're working all year.
there you
And
go.
what you're working all year. The impact is happening all year. The preparations are happening all year. I'm sure your team is doing a bunch of things during technically maybe an off-ish season from the school year. That's when so much work happens. Speak to that. Talk about what's happening. Paint the picture for them. This is why the monthly matters, is that your gift allows us to plan for the next school year. We're not waiting contingent on this grant or this thing to happen. We know that we can already provide lunches for 500 kids. What if we could do the rest? Da, 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 da. Like it's that kind of communication.
Yes, totally agree. And the person that had the question said they don't want to be misleading. How wonderful that you want to be so beautifully accurate. But listen, as Dana just said, you are working all year round, even if there's a little bit of time you're not having those weekend offerings.
And the word that I like to give is this gift can do this. Your monthly donors. So I give to five. I think I give five monthly gifts right now. I honestly want them to do whatever they need to do with my funds. Like it should be if you need to hire somebody with my fund, hire somebody with my fund. Like do what you need to do to push the overall vision forward. And that's what that language needs to encompass is giving out the lunches every weekend is like an acute thing that happens, but what's the purpose? Why are you doing that? And that's the language to use with these donors.
I love that. Absolutely. Uh, Crystal asks a great question. I feel like I know the answer, but we want to hear the Dana answer. Sh- Should you still send year-end gift asks to monthly donors?
Yes. Yes. So this is a really exciting. So I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and unfortunately, the day that I had this event planned that I'm going to tell you about, it snowed. But I give monthly to the Hope Booth. They're another Give Butter amazing organization based here in Atlanta, and their founder asked if I would host a fundraising event at my house, inviting my friends to give monthly. And I was so excited about it. You guys, I created my paperless post invite. I was going to have barbecue food catered. I was inviting my neighbors. They were getting babysitters. And I had two of their team members from the Hope Booth were going to come. And this was just that was an off ask. I already give monthly. Can we do this at your house? Yes, would love to. Ask your they want to do more. Like these people are so in, and I was so bummed the one day that it has a torrential. I couldn't leave. Our driveway is pretty slanted with a hill, and I couldn't even take my daughter to daycare that day. And so we had to, for the safety of everyone, cancel. And right now I'm trying to replan that fundraising event around my birthday in March. Because now it's just going to be a birthday hope party. So, yes. Yes, thank you. I love this, Manuela. The most engaged in our one-off initiatives also, 100%.
Absolutely agree. I love that. Here's a really great question too from Lena. In a welcome donor series, so I'm assuming that means a new donor email series.
Mhm.
When do you make the ask to turn to a monthly donor in a series of, they say, of 4 emails, for example?
To a new one-time donor.
To be, yes, so they're going to a new one-time donor.
Okay.
When do we solicit them to be a recurring donor?
Ideally, immediately. So, if you have the option of having a custom thank you page to direct people to, this actually was one of the case studies I shared in my book from IJM UK, International Justice Mission. They had their largest increase in gifts, not through emails, but on the direct thank you page that donors went to right after they had made the gift. Um, Within emails, put it in all of them. It honestly is making the case for it. Sure, the first one can be a thank you. Let's just call it the second. Um, it's how you structure. I'm just going back to language because that's really what it is that's compelling and making it like a singular focused ask. So immediately.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. I'll say for that. Louisa asks a great question. I hadn't thought about this, Louisa. I like it, but it was Dana, based off something you said earlier. Being that as consumers, we are used to the word subscribe. Is that
Mm,
something worth testing with sustainers? As in, she said, bring meaning into your subscription or subscribe to nourishing neighbors.
yes. So I even talk about this with the monthly giving summit, which I know we're going to talk about because there's a really exciting announcement. So don't
Yeah.
leave that Give Butter is a
Yes.
part of. Really exciting announcement. It has to do with money, free money. Um, I call it subscriptions for good. I think it's a really great way to encompass and embody just the consumer culture that we're living in. Totally test it.
I love that. I love that. One more question. So we're just gonna, because I did such a good one. Do you have any suggestions for wording for an organization that donations almost entirely cover operational costs? For example, we are an
Hmm.
adoption agency. Most of the work covers staff time to provide services to our programs and not like meals to feed the homeless. They're struggling to find a compelling way to get donors to give, especially on a monthly basis.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would talk about the impact that your team is providing, like what it takes to run that. Because your staff is there, what happens? How many adoptions happen? How many, I don't know if counseling sessions are a part of that, trainings are a part of that, all of that. Think about, write a list. This is for all of you. Write a list of the day-to-day things that are happening within your programs. Monthly gifts help make all of that possible. And so never discount that. And I think this is really important as we can get stuck in the weeds of things. And my biggest piece of advice, and we'll talk about this at the summit too, is to just start. Start asking, create the right messaging, have the form ready so it's clear, and get started.
I love that. Absolutely. Also, last little, there's a specific Give Butter question there. So I can just answer that briefly here. The question, a couple people asked, the examples that you were showing, Dana, the website examples, how much of that was Give Butter? So quick little note, in Give Butter, when you create a campaign within Give Butter, that can be a recurring, donor campaign.
Right.
To get it onto your website, you would add that as what we call a widget. So that's where you can see that embedded donation form pop up. You can add a button or a floating button. So those are widgets, but you would create the campaign in Give Butter, but then you would add it to your website. You can also always share the campaign direct. That could be nice too, but on your website, you would have that up as a widget. Anything else on that, Dana? Just a little explanation there.
Yeah. And I think if you go to the examples of, you can go to Clio, you can go to Politicist, you go to the Hope booth that I mentioned, and you'll see where they have button widgets and they have form widgets. So I always try and embody both.
I love that. Absolutely. Oh my goodness, we got through so many questions, Dana. That may be like the biggest we've ever had, the most
That's
we've
the
ever
most
had.
important part, though, is like you came here for a reason. And so I wanted to try and get as many of your specific questions answered. If we didn't, dun, 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 Stephanie, are you going where I think you're going?
That's exactly where we're going, my friend. Yes, if we could get Brooke, if you could get that slide deck back up for the monthly giving summit. Yes, please. We'll have Brooke get that back up for us. Dana, do you want to dive in or do you want me to dive in?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so this was a wild idea that I had last year in September, and 2,100 nonprofits from 47 countries registered for. Yay! I see so many of you saying already signed up. It was so good. Yay! And it was amazing. Like the community, the engagement, the positivity, just like the joy of everybody there this year. We already have over 3,200 people signed up. So way over last year by already over 1,000 people, still from all over the country. The biggest things that I can say that's changing that I'm really excited about is we have case study rooms this year. So you're going to be able to enter in a room that's like pre-launch to 500 monthly donors, 500 to 5,000, 5,000 plus. And we have two nonprofits in each room that are going to be sharing case studies with you about what they've done. So for example, in the small room, we're going to be talking about how an organization literally launched. They went from 5 to 70 monthly donors. One made it the centerpiece of giving at their gala and how they surged recurring gifts in one night. On the medium room as a teaser, we have Maggie from Food Bank of the Rockies. She has 5,000 monthly donors with a 90% retention rate. In the large room, the NAACP is sharing how they have launched a DRTV campaign and digital, so testing that streaming and how that's growing their sustainer program. And then what I really love is an international organization who's just starting their monthly giving. It was never a focal point. And so they just have like 80, I think, or something. But you would think because they're massive and huge that they would have a massive program, but they don't. So it's all about literally how can we learn from each other. So there's all organizations of all sizes sharing their insights. And our keynote speaker, I just had a podcast episode launched with her today to give you a little sneak peek of who she is, Liz Bohannon. If you listen, my podcast is Missions to Movements. I can share a link in here. And it's all about beginner's pluck, is what it's called. And so feeling free to take the risks that we need to innovate and to grow. And I think that's all about a monthly giving program. Oh, Sarah, thank you. I'm so honored that you listened. So it came out today. It's a really great episode. I don't listen to usually my episodes after they launch, and I listened to it when I was driving this morning because I just needed more of Liz in my life. And so I promise you'll leave with takeaways and be really excited to hear her as our keynote speaker in 2 weeks.
I cannot wait for this,
Oh,
Dana. Yeah,
and wait, do we have a separate slide on the scholarship or should we talk about it now?
we don't. We can talk about it right now. That's exactly where I was going. Do you want to take it?
Yes. Okay. So Give Butter is our give back presenting sponsor. So props. And I will say, every speaker, every nonprofit is paid for their time to attend this event. And this would not be possible. I am a big believer in paying people for their time and their experience. And so every person you see on the screen is going to be paid to be there. Um, Give Butter is providing $5,000, $1,000 per scholarship to the next 5 people who join the monthly giving mastermind this summer. So it's going to be 5 Give Butter organizations that are excited about either launching or refreshing or building a monthly giving program. And Give Butter is taking $1,000 off the top and giving it to you as a scholarship, which is super exciting. And the application will be open for that at the summit.
I love it.
Woo!
Listen, we love working with you, Dana. We are so excited about Monthly Giving Summit and so happy to have sponsored this and join you in this incredible event. So if you have not registered, friends, please do yourself a beautiful service. Scan that QR code. Okay, join us in just a couple weeks. Dana, it has been
Thank
the
you.
most pleasure getting to chat with you and learn from you today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you
Thank you all.
so
Thank you all
much.
so much. I hope to see you in just a couple
Yay, absolutely. We will all be there, Dana. We will all be there, right, friends?
weeks.
So as we're wrapping up, so everyone give some love to Dana in the chat. We've got a few more quick announcements before we wrap up, but this has been such a great session. We are so grateful. So just a little mention, our next
Mallory.
webinar is coming up. So
The
March,
best.
oh my goodness, right? We love Mallory Erickson. Oh my gosh, another superstar coming to join us on March 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Please go ahead, get registered, sign up for that. We love it. We can't wait to have you back and party again next month for the next webinar. And last but not least, just a quick little moment here. If you could scan that QR code on the slide, you will also get it via email too. But we want to hear from you, fam. We want to hear from you. We want to know, what do you think about these webinars? Are you loving them? What do you think? We want your feedback. So go ahead, scan that QR code,
Oh,
take our survey. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you're feeling. Also, don't forget our office hours. Oh my goodness, friends. Has anyone not joined in office hours yet? They are like, if I'm being perfectly honest here, I think they may be my favorite offering from Give Butter ever outside of Academy. These office hours are incredible. These are live sessions with our own Claudia, who you know and love, workshops where you can get in there and get answers to your questions as you work through different features of our platform. So check those out. Join our Facebook fam as well. We love you in there. We love hearing from you and getting to swap ideas with other customers. So lots of ways to engage with Give Butter, each other, and of course us. So we are so grateful for all of you. Thank you for joining us today. We cannot wait to see you soon, and have a beautiful Valentine's Day and rest of your February ahead.
thanks, Stephanie.
Thanks, Dana. Great to have you, friend. Bye, everyone.